You underwent IVF to welcome your two beautiful boys. Why was it so important for you to share that story and particularly share it with your mom on camera, and open up to her about all of that?
I think, first of all, when I went through IVF, I always remember thinking or finding like comfort in other people's stories and other people's, like, whether it was success or not. It was just because you go through so much in that moment. My journey sort of lasted almost 4 years, so it was a really long and very, very, I would say it was a bit of a roller coaster ride. But I just remember finding comfort in relating to other women who are going through the same thing. And when I was talking to producers on the show, about sort of me and my journey, and obviously, like, how I conceived my children was such a big thing for me because I did go through so much. And I think that they really found it interesting. And when I started talking about cultural nuances, and I'm sure as Middle Eastern girl, you understand, like, it's really not easy to talk to our parents about certain things. And I did happen to mention that, I hadn't told my family that I, like, went through all of this treatments and all of the, I guess, all of the trauma. And so I wanted to share the conversation with my mom because I wanted to share the conversation, my experience overall, because I think that it was important, as a woman of color, to kind of be in that position to normalize it. And also for my mom, I mean, the amount of messages I've gotten, just like, oh my God, you've kind of helped me in communicating to my family what I've been going through. And that was kind of, it wasn't intentional, but I was like, oh, I wonder if, like, people see me have this conversation in quite a public, like, sort of way with my mom, they'll feel inspired to maybe do the same if they're going through any type of similar, situation. Like, I think a lot of women don't feel supported. They do think that they can go through this themselves, or they don't feel like they're able to talk to anyone. And so that was really kind of the preface behind it.
Oh, totally. And I think it was great to see. And also, being the first Indian woman on the franchise,
Yeah.
and getting to tell that story is almost even more important, because we just haven't seen it. And so having that representation, I think, is super vital.
Yeah, and I really do, like, want to stress, I think women of color in general don't really have that support system. And I don't know why. But for me, it was like I only told a handful of people, but when I did come out on national TV about, like, what I had gone through, the amount of friends, like close friends, people that I thought I knew everything about, either called me and said, oh my God, like, I had a miscarriage, or that they were going through IVF and that they hadn't told anyone. It was so crazy to me because, I don't know why it's such a stigma surrounding those topics. And I really do think that we need to open up and share sort of what we're going through in order to get that support.